Pause. Take a break. Reflect on life. Your moment of greatness starts now.
By the end of this episode, you will become a more aware and happy person with the help of a psychotherapist, radio, television, and podcast host, international speaker, author, and the originator of the awareness integration theory. Welcome to the show, Dr. Foojan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Toby. It's so nice to be with you. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. I'm so sorry if I missed your name, if I mispronounced your name. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're good. Yes, it's Foojan Zeine, so you're good.
Foojan Zeine. That's awesome. Nice name. Nice name. Um, I'm so glad to be speaking with you because I found out that you wrote books. I mean, books that has to do with depression, living the life that overcoming depression, overcoming anxiety, creating the life that you want, that you desire, that you desire for yourself. For example, awareness integration and life resets. So I would love us to learn from your life journey and life story so far. I don't know if you would love to share, your life experience, your life journey that, inspired you to write these books or to go in this direction that you are in right now.
Of course. Yes, I was born in Iran and I moved to United States when I was about 12 and a half, alone. I went to boarding school and then I went to school, kind of raised myself. And obviously, when you are in a position of raising yourself and immigrating, then you go through a lot of different types of traumas and different dynamics. So I started actually going to therapy and self progress seminars because I really needed to work on myself, because when I said that I wanted to have a business, be married, have a home by a certain age, I had it, and then I'm like, okay, I worked so hard to get everything. I'm not happy, I'm not fulfilled, I'm depressed. So I started going to these seminars, and then I went to psychotherapy, and I just fell in love with the field of getting not only to heal myself but to be able to heal other people and look at how we hold so much internally that kind of stops us, does not allow us to kind of like move forward, be with others and enjoy our life after all that we've done. So going to different types of therapy myself and learning about it, I brought them all, taking from the cognitive, from emotional, from all different theories that were out there and trauma informed, and brought them into kind of a format which really goes very deep and very brief and creates awareness for people, and what their thought processes are, their emotional process, how do they act, and what kind of results they create in different types of relationship that they have, like relationship with their body, with their self, with their intimate relationship, work, money, parents, family, children, all of it. And then we did a lot of research on those in different universities. I'm teaching it right now in Cal State Long Beach. We started looking at doing research in even younger children, like from infancy and up in daycare. We're taking it to schools. And most of these types of, whether we used it as a psychotherapy or whether we used it as a self-help, it showed that it's minimizing depressive episodes, and is minimizing anxiety, and it's raising self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-agency. So then we developed the app, which is called Foojan app, and so people can get onto the app and go through the questions and processes in different areas of their life. And that's how it kind of began, and it keeps flourishing and moving in psychotherapy world, in the educational world, and any place that humanity needs to kind of take care of themselves.
Hey there, friends. If you're loving these deep dives into personal growth and soulful chats, make sure to subscribe to Mirror Talk Soulful Conversations. Join us every week for inspiration, reflection, and meaningful conversations that feed your soul. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button now.
Yes, yes. I'm going to place the link to your website where one could download the app in the show notes of this episode. I encourage people to just get the app and check it out and see how you can make use of it to become even a much more aware person, and also to find out some truth about yourself also in one way or the other. Thank you, Fujan, for that beautiful gift that you've given to the world already. Yeah. Yes. But I would love you to enlighten us on the awareness integration theory. What is it all about? Like, can you go into details or depths on how we could use this to improve our lives?
Sure. I think everybody knows that they are living in relationship. They live in relationship with themselves. Everybody talks to themselves. We can all hear ourselves talking to each other, to ourselves. And
Yeah.
we are in another relationship, right? We have the first relationship we had was our parents, and then we had friends, and then we had siblings, sisters and brothers. And then we went to school and we had friends. Then kind of, we became romantically involved with somebody. So it's having an intimate relationship, people at work and society, we had children. So you can see that we live all day in relationships. So it matters in how we think about other people, how we feel about them, how we behave. So it's important for us to kind of create two cameras for ourselves. One that checks inside and constantly monitors our thoughts and emotional processes, because there's a lot going on in there. There's constantly thoughts and emotions. But when you're aware of these thoughts and processes, then you can pick and choose which one of these thoughts and processes are useful for you, and you can put them now in action and create some results. So one camera goes in, looks at the thought and emotion, and then one camera looks out of the behavior, the actions you're creating to the outside world, and then the result that you have. We also, Toby, consistently live in assumptions, and we don't necessarily check them, right? So we always assume, is Toby like me, or does he think I'm confused, or does he think like, I'm a scholar? And then anything that I have an assumption based on like your observation, your conversation with me, or observing your facial expression, I'm going to come up with some assumption that I then react to it, right? So
Yes.
then it's like, it's good to know what assumptions we're consistently living in. Like somebody wakes up in the morning and like, oh, I'm going to go to the office and my boss is going to be angry at me. And so we go in already with a chip on our shoulder and defending, while the person might not even at all be angry at you. We all know, like we go into, your intimate relationship or your marriage, and you already have an assumption. I know what he's going to be thinking. I know what she's going to be thinking, which is not accurate. You're not going to, you don't know that. But then we come up with these assumptions and we already live into our own assumption without ever checking it. So learning how to see, is this really my observation? Is this really what's going on inside of me? Or is it really going outside? And the only way that I know it's going outside is to check it. Ask somebody, like, what are you thinking about me right now? Or what are your thoughts? Or what do you think what was this behavior for? Can you tell me why you behave that way, instead of me assuming? And then I think the third level, Toby, is that we take ourselves everywhere. We talk to ourselves. We treat ourselves a particular way, right? So, for example, if I'm not confident enough and I don't think I'm that good, doesn't matter how much Toby you will say, Foojan, you're amazing, you're great, you're this and that. I'm like, he's just saying that. I'm not going to take it in, right? Or if I'm full of myself and I think I'm the best thing that's ever happened to humanity, if other people will tell me, Foojan, we don't like what you just did to us, I'm like, no, they don't understand. I'm great. So there might be a way that I am with myself, which is different again than the reality out there.
Yeah.
So it's being aware of what's going on with me, and also being aware and connected to the outside world, because we're consistently co-creating this process together. And then in this part, as we become aware, then what do? We kind of find our strengths, the skills we already have, our power, our resiliency, things that we already know, our knowledge. And then we can also see the negative beliefs that are there, the vulnerabilities, the things we made up. And so we can then, in the process, go back and look at, when did we make these up? what happened in our life that we said, I'm bad, or I'm good, or I'm best, or I'm worst, or, I'm fat, or I'm ugly, or I'm good looking, or, I'm the best thing that ever happened. So there's a time in our history that we created these kind of like general stuff about ourselves. So then what we want to do is to kind of like through a process of the thought process, the emotion, the body, which holds the synapses of memory, to go back to those memories, revisit them, and kind of reestablish them with a bigger lens of our reality at this age. So if I was 5 and something happened and I made up like I'm not good enough, now I can go back from a 61-year-old woman and say, let's open the lens and look at what we've come through so far. So it's like integrating all of these different parts of us that have been kind of separated, and whether it was through trauma or whether it was through something we didn't like and we kind of like disconnected with ourselves, to bring all of that and feel like we're whole. And then from there, we intentionally go into every area of life and set up like a system of goal setting. What do I want? What do I want to create in this relationship? What do I do? What kind of skills I need to build this relationship and move forward? And that then you kind of have this full on methodology, which gives you the tools of being aware of yourself, kind of being aware of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors and the impact that you create, but also clean up your past and become whole, and then set intentions and move forward where, during the day you experience like I'm on top of things. I got this. I can move around and, kind of co-create my life with what is actually out there.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for explaining that. And you made mention of something that I would love us to even maybe go into much more details into, and that's you talked about our past, like letting go of our past. So I would love you to help us, please. How can we let go of our past? How can we deal with unfinished matters from the past traumas, for example? How can we let go of them, deal with them, so that they don't affect our future and the life that we want to build for ourselves?
When something happens, when an event happens, at that time we make up something about it, right? Like if you and I, if somebody came and interviewed you and I after this interview, you are going to have a whole different kind of narrative about what happened than I would, right? So
Yes.
reality is really subjective because the same thing is happening right now. You and I are going to have a completely different story out of it later. Now, imagine that when an event happens, I would look at that event, and based on the emotion that it created and produced for me, I'm going to make up a particular thought process. And usually, every evening when we're going to sleep, we take whatever happened during the day and we store it in our memory. And the stuff that gets really stored are the ones that are influenced by highly charged emotions.
Mm.
So if I was in an event which it was highly charged for me and negatively, obviously I would hold it and I would generalize it because my system wants to survive. So it's going to say, Foojan, remember this because we don't want this to ever happen again. So we store these type of negativity, and because we're trying to survive. Now, when you look at these memories, usually we've created one belief which is negative and generalized it about ourselves or the world, right? I'm powerless. I'm not good enough. The world is ugly. I'm not safe. The world is to hurt me. So there's something we make general and we hold it. And then the neural network of this kind of gets held. And then we go on with life tomorrow. We survive it, we live it, we move on. But that is frozen almost. Like our system couldn't handle it, it couldn't integrate it. And because it couldn't, it held it like in a shelf in a closet. Well,
Yeah.
it keeps creeping in. So at any point during, our lifetime, when anything resembles that kind of a powerlessness, It automatically comes out of the closet, starts making us survive, and then, we react to the world as if we're still 5 years old. We don't react like, okay, no, I'm 20, I'm 30, I got a lot more skills. So part of what we want to do is we go back to that memory through a recalling, through our bodies, through our emotions, and through the thought process, because that's how it got stored. It got stored in a system of your body, because your body gets activated with your emotion, a particular emotion, and a particular thought process. And that's like those keys that is a lock, like you put it on your suitcase, and you got to get the
Yeah.
numbers, and that's how you get your thought process, the emotional process, and where is it in your body. And you go into unlocking those memories, and now that you're in that memory, you're kind of coming back to that memory from full on who you are. So for example, I'm 61, I go back to that memory from a woman who's 61 years old, listening to that event, looking at that event, and coming with a bigger lens, not of a 5-year-old who truly at that moment had no skills, nothing, and was probably petrified and felt powerless. But I can go from this age going back and reminding that part of me that we got it handled. We already survived it. We already have so much power. Thanking that part of us which is like withheld it, and it was powerful enough to withhold until we learned all of these other skills. And then you shift the narrative of that memory. Now, all the research has shown, Toby, memories are fluid. So every time you visit a memory, you're recreating the memory. So if you ever kept going back to a horrible memory and you kept going through the horror over and over again, you're rebuilding the story from a horror place. But if you keep going back to a memory from your powerful place, then you rebuilt the memory from a powerful place. And then that's how the neural network of your brain changes the whole concept of that memory. And therefore, the charge releases. And the belief system opens up. It gets dismantled. And it becomes part of the bigger picture of who you are. Now, does that mean that I'm never powerless? Of course we are. All day we're powerless. But I also have power. And it's this distinctions of what situations I feel powerless and what situation I feel power. And that's just a combination of who we are. And look, guess what? I must have been more powerful enough to make it to this age and have what I have, right? And
Yes.
I can take care of the times that I'm powerless with acknowledging my strengths and power and all the skills that I have. So then you be kind of like join yourself in all aspects of you.
Yeah. Wow, that's so deep. Wow. I mean, us recognizing our strengths, our weaknesses, and knowing what we can take control of, and just coming from that positive side, basically, and using our strengths to push forward in life. Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. That's like a lot of things to digest from that from that answer. Yeah. But from listening to you, I believe this requires a lot of intentionality. Like we have to every day of our lives then live with intentionality. How do we then bring this into our daily life? How do we bring that intentionality to be happy, to work on ourselves every day? How do we start that kind of habit, or cultivate that kind of habit into our lives?
Well, one thing that we could do is go, for example, if you go through the app, it takes you through different areas of your life, and you kind of become more aware of, well, what kind of equality do I want in this relationship? Like if it's my relationship with my body, what kind of quality do I want? And based on that, if I want to be healthy and I want to look good, what are some of the steps that I got to do based on science? Go look at nutrition value, different aspects of, what I need to do. And then take that and put it in a goal setting, and then put it in my calendar, and have a system of a buddy system, which they remind me and they support me. So you kind of like, this is what I want. This is how the skills it needs. This is how it's going to get impacted in my life. And this is, if I'm serious about it and committed, then I'm going to put it in schedule in my life, because if I don't set it up as a schedule, it ain't going to happen. Life is going to take over a lot of other stuff. So
Mm.
you go into every aspect of your life and you create, like, what is it I want? How do I envision this? How do I want to bring myself into this? If it's an intimate relationship, what kind of quality I want to create every time I'm with my mate, right? The
Mm.
hours that we're together, how do I want this to be? And then then you systematize it, and you write it and you look at it and you create like time. I've talked to a lot of like married people go, we don't have time together. And we actually sit down and look at their calendar. Okay, like after you put the kids down, after it's about, how about like between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Can you give each other like half an hour of just sitting, looking at each other's eyes, watching TV together, doing something together? So we set up, it's actually quality time with each other. And this doesn't mean that life has to become boring with your calendar. You can be spontaneous if you like, also. But when you're intentional, that as those times, what is it that you want to create? Then your whole system goes after creating whatever you said you want to create. And then during the
Mm.
day, you could wake up in the morning and just say, who do I intend to be today? I intend to be someone who's loving, and I want to be open. I want to learn. I want to give. I want to receive. I have, and then you look at your calendar on these, in the every one of these things. These are the things I want to do. And for example, between you and I had the time confused because CET to me meant United States and to you meant Europe. But what do we do?
Mm.
Like you said, where are you? And I'm sending, what do you mean, where are you? I'm not supposed to meet you right now. But then and then we had technology issues. But then what happened? It's like, what? Our intention is to connect. Our intention is to
Mm.
learn from each other. Who cares? Let's figure it out. And I said, I
Mm.
got half
Mm.
an hour, and you're like, cool. And I'm like, okay, we can't do it on Chrome. Let's just, you sent me something else. And then with a lot of difficulties, we smoothly got together, and as if nothing happened, as if like we intended it this way, exactly the way it was supposed to be. Nobody knew
Yeah.
that when you and I said hi, we'd already gone through all this confusion in 10 minutes of, technology issues. And we're like,
Yeah.
hi. And, why? Because our
Mm.
intention is to do this together and have fun,
Mm.
enjoy, and learn. And that's what we did, regardless of all the
Yes.
obstacles that shows up. Does that make sense?
Mm. Of course, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I'm so proud of us that we figured that out. And yeah, I mean, what I learned from that right now is that one has to set your intentions and stay focused on it, no matter what comes, no matter the challenges. Life always comes with its noises and everything. Just stay focused and keep on going. Just keep on going. Keep on swimming. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, wow. That means for someone who is, for example, frustrated and angry all the time and wants to live a very happy and positive life, that person just have to, for example, use the app and like set those goals and intentions and see what attributes or character does an happy person have, or a happy person have, or a positive person have. Then try to work towards getting those habits or characters. Yeah.
Thoughts come in all the time. You can pick and choose which one works for you. Emotions are there to give you a message. You honor them, you listen to them, but you don't have to surf in them. Anger comes in just to tell you something's not right and you need to take care of yourself. You don't need to remain
Mm.
angry. You could get the message and release your anger, and then do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But
Mm.
if you want to hang in there in joy and calmness, then great. Like create scenarios and stuff around you and thought process that keeps you into calmness. Right now, we could have
Mm.
gotten very frustrated, or we could have just said, all right, like, I'm just going to be calm. All is going to be well. And, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We'll reschedule. But if it happens, it happens. And it did.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
anger and frustration are normal human um, emotions that are telling you something. That's all. You get
Mm.
the message and move on. You get the message, do something for it, and move on. You don't need
Yeah.
to stay in anger if you're not choosing to. Some people like staying in anger because it gives them power. Well, you could get power in other ways. You don't always have to choose anger in order to be powerful. So it's that
Mm.
awareness, as I said, if you create that camera that is looking inside, and it's like, well, do you enjoy being angry? Okay, then use it. Do other people enjoy your anger? Pretty much not. Okay, well, if you enjoy it but others don't, you're going to screw up your relationships anyway. So maybe you can have a different emotion that you could, foster, which not only works for you, but it works for everybody else around you too. So it's that choice, but you can't make a choice, Toby, unless you're aware of all the choices that are there. So that's why the awareness part of this really, really helps. So awareness integration theory has 6 phases. Three phases of it is only awareness. And then you due to this, you clean up the past. So it's awareness, which is in the present moment. After you figure out what's going on in the present moment, you figure out what's coming from the past and leaking in it. You go clear the past, bring it into the present moment, and then envision tomorrow the way you like it, then come back to the present moment and start initiating the things so that you could get to the tomorrow that you say you want. So it's really also not only handles all the past and future tenses and stuff, but also brings you to live in the present. That's the only place you get to experience as a human being. That's the only place that action happens.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. For someone out there who is like maybe feeling depressed right now, or anxious, or suffering from anxiety at the moment, what's like one thing person can do right now to feel just a little bit better before going on that journey of awareness, integration therapy, sorry, theory.
Count all the greatness that it is all around you. I woke up in the morning. Guess what happened? Electricity was still in my house. Thank you.
Mm,
Hot water was still here. Thank you. There are people right now in Turkey and Syria that their home are smashed. They don't have anything. I woke up. Coffee is here. Good, thank you. I looked at my dog and I'm like, I'm in love. Oh my God, thank you. My husband is on a trip. I texted him. We chatted. I'm like, good. I love my relationship. So it's like go toward every single thing that you already have and just say thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm healthy. I'm alive. I actually woke up this morning. Thank you. you
mm,
know, I
yeah.
I have
Yes.
Toby to talk to today. Oh my God, thank you.
Uh,
So it's like going through, and that will start your process of seeing what you have, and what you have is hell of a lot more than the things you don't have.
Yes. Wow. Wow. Just being grateful will help you pull through. Yes. Yes. I mean, Fujian, you do a lot of things, like you lecture, you help psychotherapists, in their training, and you also coach also. If you could just give us a summary of everything that you do, can you just tell us like what are the services that you offer to the world?
Sure, I'm definitely a full-time therapist and a coach. So I do have my private practice that I do, and then I teach and certify psychotherapists and life coaches into the awareness integration theory, so they can become, they can do this with their clients. I have the app, Foojan app, which I also, with the certification of the therapist, they can become part of the app. So if people go through the app as a self-help, they still need somebody that they really want to work with, they can go to the certified therapist and coaches to do that. I teach at California State University, Long Beach, and I actually teach the awareness integration. This session, this term, I'm actually also teaching drugs and society. So I'm teaching everybody about mental health, well-being, and drugs and addiction. I'm getting another graduate certification from Harvard at this time. So I'm also a student, always a student. I always love to learn.
Yeah.
I lecture around the world. I just finished 2 lectures and on research that we've been doing, one on psychedelic psychotherapy for psychedelic therapy that is happening. And we're bringing also awareness integration therapy into the psychedelic therapy, because not only people are taking the psychedelic, but they have to have integration after that in order to use it into their world. Also, I do research on opioid and addiction, so I'm presenting on those. I'm presenting everywhere, kind of internationally in different conferences. We just finished the conference for so the Society for Brain Mapping. And I do a lot of research. I'm consistently researching with my interns, with other therapists who do use the awareness integration therapy in their work. and we bring it and we research. I for example, work with a daycare that we took the awareness integration therapy into the daycare from people or kids who are from infancy all the way to age 6, and we saw that their emotional regulation got better. Even a 2-year-old has ability to emotionally regulate themselves, and
Wow.
their school readiness got better. It almost feels like their IQ got better, because when they can handle their emotion and they can articulate what they want, it opened them up to kind of learn faster. So it's getting a lot of great results. We're taking it to also junior high and high school years, because drugs now are being used pretty much from age like 13 or 14. Suicides are happening a lot, in that age. There's a lot going on that they really need to be able to kind of have a tool in how to kind of become aware of themselves and regulate themselves. So we're trying and attempting to take the awareness integration into school systems from 0 all the way to college years. We're taking them into companies. So it's a lot of this type of work that we do together. And I wrote the 3 books. One is Life Reset, which is it's very similar to what you get in the app, but it's in a book that it talks about different stories and how to do that, and you go through it. The next book is Awareness Integration Therapy, which is for the therapist and life coaches to be able to do that for their clients. And then the third one was Intentional Parenting, which we went from infancy all the way to adulthood. And each chapter really looks at the cognitive, the emotional, the motor skills, all of the right normal development, but also shares from an awareness integration how to develop your child to be better emotionally served. So it's good for parents, grandparents, teachers, all of that group. And the next, I think I'm working on bringing awareness integration therapy also to couples therapy and coaching. So in a nutshell, that's what was going on.
Oh, that's a lot. Oh, wow. I mean, your calendar must be very, very full and very occupied, basically. Wow. But what's the best way to connect and work with you with this your tight schedule? If there's someone out there who wants to get across the Fujan right now or work with you in one way or the other, what's the best way to do that?
At my website, foojanzeine.com. It's foojanzeine.com to get to my website. And if you want the app, you can go to any Apple store or Google store for Android. And that also, you can go to Foojan.com. Foojan.com is for the app, but Foojanzeine.com is everything that you ever wanted to see about me is there. Awarenessintegration.com has everything that you need to know about the actual theory.
Yes, I'll place that in the show note of this episode. I encourage everyone to just download the app, visit the website, maybe get the books also. They're available on all platforms, Amazon, for example. Thank you so much, Foojan, for your time. I really appreciate this. You taught me a lot about awareness, gratitude, and how to, work on the things in the past. Thank you so much.
Toby.
I appreciate this.
Wow, you made it to the very end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for your time, your love, and your contributions. Subscribe, like, review, and share this podcast. God bless you. Bye.